Hey, what's up, shrimp keepers, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are very honored to actually have Jacob Waters over here at the North America Shrimp Contest. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's actually my honor. It's actually my honor to be here to actually take a look at this. You know, behind us over here is actually the North America Shrimp Contest that is being held. Of course, there's other stuff in there, the saltwater stuff, and there's a lot of great exhibits over here, and I think it's really awesome. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, so maybe Jacob, you can share with us a little bit of your journey.
Sure. So about 15 years ago, I started off actually breeding reptiles, snakes. Got out of that hobby into saltwater aquariums.
Right.
I was breeding ornamental clownfish and growing corals. And then about 4 years ago, my son wanted to get a betta. So we dove into freshwater tanks, went to an aquarium club. A gentleman there gave us a free bag of shrimp,
Right.
low-grade cherries, and I was hooked ever since. Then one tank turned to 5 tanks, turned to 15, to 20, to 30, now upwards of 60.
60 tanks.
60
Okay.
Caridina shrimp-only tanks.
That's a lot. So thanks for the background information, background introduction. Maybe Jacob, can you share with us what's your objective of coming here today over here?
Yes, my first objective is one, to meet people like you,
Right.
my friends I talk to and see online from
Right.
overseas. That has been the highlight of my trip, as well as all the shrimp that are just amazing that were brought in from Singapore, from Thailand, from Germany. My goal is to help grow the shrimp hobby. We are just starting to get a foothold here in the U.S. We're still 20 years behind Germany and 40 years behind Asia right now, in my opinion. It is just fully enthralled my entirety for the hobby. It has been so amazing. There are these little tiny creatures you get to watch swim around and just do the funniest things, and I just want to bring that to as many people as I can.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think maybe you can also share with the audience a little bit of how does it feel like to be a breeder in the US?
So it is. It can be difficult at times because since the hobby is very small.
Okay.
So I primarily keep Caridina, the higher end, harder to keep shrimp. There's not a huge market for them here, honestly. So I don't sell a lot of my Caridinas online. I usually keep the Neo Caridina for selling, which are the easier to keep that most people see at Petco, PetSmart, and local fish stores.
Correct.
But we, the breeders of the higher end shrimp, we're a really tight knit group. So we constantly are bartering and selling different bloodlines to each other. So it has been difficult getting started, but it's really started. I've noticed a big change just in the last 2 years,
Right.
especially here.
So what is one of the things that you would have probably look at in terms of, like, for example, you're saying that the high-end shrimp breeders in the US is not too many,
Right.
And what do you think is stopping that?
Well, one is access, honestly, because, I mean, as everyone knows, the best shrimp in the world come from overseas. The highest end shrimp come from Singapore,
Asia.
from Asia, and even from Germany and France.
Yep.
So we are starting to get localized resellers here in the U.S. now. You got like Eric Lucas from BuyPetShrimp.com.
Right.
You got Rob Bloomfield.
Right.
You got Polanski Farms. You've got Grant and the Garden Invader.
Right.
Just to name a few of them that are bringing in or already have and breeding the higher end shrimp. So they're becoming more prevalent here.
Okay.
Like I said, just in the last 2 years. 2 years ago, you would not have found hardly any Galaxy fishbone shrimp here.
Right.
At least I had a hard time finding them, but now they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And then you got boas that are just now starting to really come out, and I've got a couple tanks of boa lines that I'm working on myself.
Right.
And for us, the higher end Caridina shrimp, it's a passion. It's not really for money at the moment because there just isn't the market. I will keep doing this hobby even if it puts me in a shoebox, honestly. I will find a fit tanks in a shoebox.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So access is one of the things that actually is like stopping you guys from progressing further.
Access has been the hardest thing.
Hardest thing. Right. So, but once access is being resolved, then you guys will be able to progress much further.
I have my gut feeling is that within the next 4 years will be a massive shrimp breeder boom in the U.S.
Oh, that's amazing. So
yeah.
for those who are watching, this will be a golden opportunity to be selling in the U.S.
Yes, I mean, shrimp, like even low to medium grade red galaxy fish bones sell at a premium here because they're getting more, but they aren't. Like I said, they're not hugely prevalent yet.
Not hugely prevalent. All right. So Jacob, maybe you want to share with us, some of the things like, for example, to be a good breeder, what would you advise new breeders that's coming into the hobby?
Consistency is king.
Okay.
So, make a schedule and stick to it. I find with my tanks, I am a bit of a slumlord. I don't clean the tanks very often.
Okay.
I find my shrimp like a dirty tank.
Okay.
Because there's lots of food and
Algae
algae and stuff for the babies to graze off of.
Right.
The biggest mistakes I've noticed, and I even committed when I first got into the hobby, was I over-cleaned my tank.
Okay.
I came from saltwater where I did weekly water changes. So I was doing 20 to 30% water changes every week, and my shrimp the babies were never surviving. There wasn't enough food for them. Another thing is, I would say start with good stock.
Okay.
Is another thing because that's another hard part. Like if going to a local pet store, like big chain like PetSmart, Petco, I would never buy any of their shrimp because half the time they have some kind of disease or a poor molting. Go online. Join local fish clubs. That was a big thing that saved me in the hobby was the local fish clubs. And then the YouTubers, watching you guys, I learned a lot. And just, you're always learning. You never know it all.
Exactly. So coming back to your setup, like 60 tanks, right? So what are you planning ahead, or what are you trying to do in terms of your progress in the next few years? What would you be?
So I have a couple, like I said, I'm working on a couple BOA projects.
Right.
I have a genetics breeding project tank that I'm hoping to come up with my own color variant. I know it's going to be a 10 to 15 year progress according to Vin. That's what he told me. He's like 10, 15 years to make a new color line. But I mean, that's what got me into it is the genetics, My end all goal is to fill out my space with tanks. I can get up to, if I measured correctly, 260 10-gallon aquariums.
260.
So I will eventually get there, and then every colony I have, each variant will have multiple tanks.
Just in case.
Yeah, so I'll have like a breeder's tank, then I'll have a grow out tank, and then I'll have like a cull, just like live and let live tank. That seems to be the best practice if you're trying to do it for making high quality. I don't really sell a ton. I'm more of a collector is what I find myself at now, and I'm just trying to refine and make my genetics better. That's my end goal is to produce the best quality shrimp I can here in the States.
Yeah, I think that's great. And in terms of infrastructure, like you're gonna start drilling your tanks and do all the pipings and drainage and stuff like that. I think that in itself will also help the progress of the hobby, right? Because everybody have 24 hours. If you're gonna have 260 tanks, you're gonna multiply that hours to 260 tanks now. It's gonna take a full day just doing water changes and things like that. So I think with that, you will be able to do more with less. So I think that's a really good thing. So maybe before we end this video, I actually wanted to ask you, what are some of the things that you actually observe in terms of the new breeders that's come into the hobby, and what are some of the things that you think that what are some of the advice?
So research, read. You will never have too much information. The care of these little creatures, especially like if you start off with Neocaridina, they'll grow in mud. Is what I like to say. Neocaridina is everyone's gateway shrimp into the hobby. Which because they can grow in anything, honestly. You don't have to really take care of them. As long as you just throw some food in there, they're gonna thrive. Now for the Neocaridina, invest in an RO system. You're gonna need to make your own reverse osmosis water and remineralize. Okay, you're gonna wanna learn how to read the different controllers for that. you have to worry about pH,
Yep.
your particular soil. Everyone has their own opinion on what soil is best.
Yeah.
You know, Amazonia is really good.
Yeah, it is.
My personal favorite is Akadama. Iberico Akadama triple red stripe.
Right.
Hard to find here in the States, but and it is expensive, but it is worth every penny.
Right.
And the biggest thing is take your time.
Okay.
I let a tank sit for 2 to 3 months with nothing in it after I set it up before I put shrimp in it.
So it's actually more like getting the tank mature,
Yeah.
not just cycle.
Yeah, but
because-
mature is
Mature.
you want algae growth.
Yeah.
You want it to look mulmy.
Yeah.
You want to have white strands everywhere,
Right.
because all that's free food.
Yeah,
you
free
know,
food.
and the more mature your tank is, the better success
better,
you're going to have. Now you can, if you have other existing tanks, you can take filter media from that
Yeah.
and move it into a new one to rush the cycle.
Yep.
But even then, I have a minimum 2 months before I put any shrimp in any tank. I set up 7 tanks 2.5 months ago before this event,
Wow.
just in case I see some cool stuff from
Good stuff.
overseas. I'm ready to get it.
Get it. Awesome, man. Awesome, Jacob. I think that's wonderful. So I think we better head back to the show.
Yeah.
So for those who are watching, appreciate your time. And those who want, maybe more content, please let me know in the comment section below. So until next time, peace out.